A lot of us have been through really tough times, whether we want to share it or not. I think most people have been through some type of tough time, whether it's financial or mental or physical. You know what I mean? Abuse, whatever. Because you could be rich and go through pretty tough times, and you could be very poor and go through tough times. Not just one particular class of people, goes through tough times. I think we all go through tough times. Anyways, I was interested to know what people's most toughest time to them was in life. So I asked people what was their toughest time ever to date. What is the most toughest time of your life?
Definitely when my ex took me to court for 5, 6 months. I was going through a lot because I had never gotten in trouble in my life. And it was just difficult dealing with that situation. At the same time, trying to stay focused and pay my bills. And I was working at a job I really didn't like. It made me miserable going to work every day. But it's at the same time, like, it paid my bills. And when he dismissed the charges, I was like, you asshole, you made me go through all this. I had to spend thousands of dollars on a lawyer. When you know you were wrong. You were in the wrong to begin with. And it just, like, I went to school for criminal justice, and seeing the court system and how everyone acts and how you're treated as a number instead of an individual, and how people are just invested when it comes to money, definitely showed me, like, that is not what I want to work at. That was difficult. That was very difficult. Like, I wouldn't want to wish that stress or pain on anybody. Like, not knowing if a lot of your dreams weren't going to come true. Because if you get a conviction on your record, you can't do a lot of things. I'm a bartender anyway, so who really cares? Yeah.
What's the most toughest time of your life?
The toughest time in my life was I was sexually assaulted in college, and it really, really affected me because I always thought, oh, I'm never going to let it happen to me. You know, you hear stories about it and you think, that won't be me. But it isn't a matter of letting it happen to you. It's not your choice. And it took me a lot to really realize that. I wasn't eating as much, I was losing weight, I was really blaming myself a lot, and I was still seeing him a lot, pretty much everywhere, even in faces that weren't his. So it was really, really difficult to go through. I did eventually make it through, but that happened in my first year of college, so to continually have to deal with that throughout college was really hard.
Okay. Is it?
Yep.
What's the most toughest time of your life?
Honestly, I think it's right now. I just graduated college, and I think having the security of school and having the surroundings of school and what school is in college, you're safe. You're very safe. You're not in the real world. But now that I'm out of school and I have to kind of figure out life and kind of figure out what I want to do with my life, and obviously I spent the last 4 years training for what I want to do, but you have to make it happen. And there's no more meal plan. There's no more calling mom for help. There's no more, not going to your work city job at work because you're tired. That you have to go to work and work, and live an adult life. And I think, obviously, like, it's doable. It's not the hardest thing to do. But I think the toughest time right now for me is trying to find a balance of, because in the end I want to be happy about anything I do. And I think if you work yourself to death, when do you find the happiness? And I think living in New York, it's so expensive to live here. People are working, 24/7, because it's a grind city. It's, everybody's grinding to, make it. But I think in the grind, people lose themselves, or they lose the joy in their life. That's why I studied acting, because I wanted to be happy. My dad was always said, do what makes you happy, because he didn't do what makes him happy, and he's not miserable, but he wish he would have done something that made him happy. So that's why I chose to be an actor. But at the same time, being an actor, it's kind of a coin toss. Either you really make a dent in this industry, or you kind of fail. Not fail, but you kind of glide by. It's tough though because I have certain dreams for myself that I want to make happen. I have certain things that I want to make come to fruition. Um, it's tough because you don't want to let yourself down. And you don't want to let, I mean, obviously your family down, but you don't want to let your childhood down. The child that was looking up to you that thought these dreams were just so easily accessible. I think as children we think like, oh, it's so easy to be a firefighter, or this and this and this and that, and you find out it's hard to do anything. You know, be well at it, and do well at it, and be successful in it. It's hard. But I digress. I mean, you know, I think what you have to have the tough times to make the end goal so much more sweeter. You know what I'm saying? So right now it's tough, but you know, get through it, figure it out, and persevere. So
I guess
What's the most toughest time of your life?
I was hit by a car, and I remember it may have been like around 2008, and I had a lot of I had a torn rotary cuff because of that, and had to be out of work for about 6 weeks and undergo physical therapy and all that kind of stuff. And I was taking, they'd given me opiates for the pain. And the problem with opiates is if you kind of get used to taking them, you need a higher and higher dosage. And you know, not being able to go to work, it kind of put me in a spiral. You know, first of all, for the time that I was out of work, it really depleted my finances, and you know, it really puts you in kind of this oh poor me cycle where you're feeling sorry for yourself, and then you kind of take more to numb yourself and kind of escape. And it was actually difficult to get out of, but you know, I do think that was an experience I learned from, and certainly don't ever want to go there again. But it's also made me a little bit more cautious about, you know, since then I've been given, you know, opiates for surgery and things like that, but it makes me very cautious. I would rather be in pain than take too many and go down that spiral again.
What was the most toughest time of your life?
I had got back from Europe. I was on a tour out there for dancing, workshops, classes, district competitions, and it was pretty different. I think personally, what happened was I came back to the U.S., had to adjust, and it's just the concept of change. You know, sometimes you outgrow your environment. You're not really the person you were before, and that can cause a weird sense of midlife crisis in a sense, especially in your 20s. You know, we're all like learning how to live right the right way, how to manage stress, sense of identity, self-awareness, and all that. And I had did like MDMA out there, did a lot of different shit. I was drinking, partying, and got more of a calm sense of self, and that left me relaxed. But coming back to the U.S., where it's a fast-paced environment, whether socially or politically, you get in a sense where you got to get back to your day-to-day life, manage whatever goals you have set, and that sometimes could leave you in a weird whirl spin where you're pretty much in a whirlpool of your thoughts, like, all right, what's the next move? How is this productive financially? What do I have to deal with? Whom I have to deal with? Do I still want to hang out with the friends I used to hang out with? What area do I want to be in, like mood and all that? I think it was, for me, it was when I came back to the States. I went straight to Miami. The environment out there was completely different from New York, which is where I'm from originally. And although I was raised out there, being in my 20s out there was a completely different experience than being in my teens. And it was different. Life was a bit more slowed down. I was just a more fast-paced environment. Adjusting took a bit of a toll because I'm used to things being one way and now it was the other. And I think accommodating myself and adjusting was something I was always good at, but I was in a new space where I wanted to do new things, and opportunities to do that wasn't in the location. So moving back to New York was definitely a plan, and I made that happen a couple of months afterwards. But it was definitely a period where it's a bit more isolated. I had to get used to just figuring out why I was around certain people, judging people's sense of character, make sure I'm around the right energy, right sense of people, and prioritize on what was important to me and what was the next step. And that period itself was another step with just establishing who I am at this point and the comfortability I have, living the lifestyle I choose to live and being myself.